Hello, welcome to TinkerCAD Tutoral, and what we're going to do today is build the hydraulic crane that we did in class the other day. So before we start building, you need to have a account on TinkerCAD, so you'll have to use an email and you'll have to set yourself up a password. All right, and by the way, if you're under 13, you'll have to have your parents' email, and then you can also from there put it on your email, or you can use their email. But if you're over 13, you can just use your school email and you don't have to bother your parents. So that's probably the best bet. So what will you do if you're a first time user? You hit join now, and then you would go ahead and set up your birthday and your email and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to skip that. I already have an account, so I'm going to sign in. And I'm going to basically sign in, you put your email. Oops. At volusia.ktotal.fl.us. Every teacher has the same at volusia.ktotal.fl.us. Put in my password. It has to have characters, it has letters, numbers, and a special character, I believe. All right, and I just messed that up. So let me try that again. Hopefully my cap locks are not on. All right, let's see if that works that time. All right, so I just typed it wrong the last time. So this is a lot of work here. You see stuff that we've done. I remember this first one down here at the very bottom here was done a year ago. It was the very first thing I tried to do. So you see a lot of name tags here that we were doing last year. So we're going to, and you see some funny names here, by the way. Bodacious Crunk, Smashing Crunk. These are auto names that just made up a name for me. I never saved any of this stuff. It just saves it automatically for you. Now I did go back and change the names after it saved it for me, just so I knew what it was later. So you will have to, it will auto name it for you and it'll auto save for you, but you'll have to go back and change the name later. So, or you can leave it some crazy name. So let's go to create new design for our lesson for today. We have work plane here. At the top here we're not going to use this one, show all. But we will be using the group and the ungroup today. We'll also be using basic shapes today. There's also other things you can choose from. There are text, characters, connectors, dinosaur parts and skeleton parts that you can put together and have fun with that. So, but we're going to stick with basic shapes for right now. And you see at the top two there, these are box and cylinder that have the lines to it are actually making holes in something that you already built. So you could make a rectangular hole in something, or here you can make a round or cylinder hole in something. So we're going to be using those later too. So let's start with the base plate for our crane. So let's bring over a cube. The cube automatically is 20 centimeters X, 20 centimeters Y, which is how deep it is, and then 20 centimeters tall. That's your XYZ. So we don't want it that tall. We're going to take the Z, which is that vertical axis. We're going to bring it down to about, let's bring it down to 5 centimeters. That's plenty big. I'm sorry, 5 millimeters. That's not 5 centimeters. So that's 5 millimeters. If you move the decimal on 5, one to the left, it becomes 0.5, right? That would be how many centimeters if you move the decimal over one place. So that's actually 0.5 centimeters, a half of a centimeter. So that's pretty thin, but that's thick enough for what we need. Now let's take this. I was taking this square here to make it, you know, how thick. Go back to it. Let's go to 4. That'll work too. Now let's take this one, that corner or this corner, and we can do the X and the Y. This is the X left to right, and this is the Y, which is forward and backward. So let's go ahead and click on that square and see where we're at. We're at 45 here, and we're at 74 here. That's kind of weird number. Say we want that 80. So let's go ahead and click on that and type in 80. You don't have to put 80.0, just put 80. Hit enter. There we go. So now we have our base plate. Now the base plate, let's go ahead and move it over and to the side here, and let's make the upright for a crane. So again, we're going to use the box again. Now you could use a cylinder here, make it a round part that comes up for the arm. So let's go ahead and raise him up. Let's try to make him about 120 millimeters, which is 12 centimeters. All right, we're going to leave the X and Y at, we've got 27 and 11. That's weird numbers. Let's make that also 20 by 20, like we first started out. I just typed 20 twice and enter. So now we have a 20 by 20. Oops, come back in. There we go. All right. So that would be the scroll wheel to zoom in and out on a PC desktop computer. I'm on a iMac, so the iMacs do not have scroll wheels. So you take your finger and just move it up and down on the mouse. Now, if I move this over, this base plate back and stick it underneath the upright to the crane, you're going to see that it's, let me see if I can show it here better this way. You can see that it's going to lose some height, right? Because it's actually it's set inside the base plate. So if you don't want that, we can always do this. We can raise this up. Select him. We can raise him up 4 centimeters. And now at the bottom there is how far it's raising up down here. So let's type in 4. Now it raises it up 4 centimeters. Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. All right, now you can see the shadow underneath it. It's actually raised up 4 millimeters. And so again, how I raise it up is this little arrowhead up here. That's how you raise it up. Sorry about the zoom in here. I'm not used to an iMac. So now I can take this and move it over, and it's basically sitting on top. Let me move it this way, you can see better. It's actually sitting on top. Oh, it's kind of hard to see too. All right, and it's now 100. What was that distance? 120. All right, it's a true 120. All right, now let's say we position this wherever we want it. Let's say we want it in the middle. Okay, and by the way, if you want to make this exactly in the middle, what you would do is you would select both pieces here, and you would use the, and I lost the, let me see here, I got to get back the, there. I would select this right here, the align tool, all right? And if I hit the align tool, you get all these dots here, and you can align this up, all right? So I think it's this one here. I'm gonna hit this one right here, and it's gonna automatically line it up. And then the other way, hit this, it lines it up. So right now, it lined it up exactly in the middle of the base plate by using the align tool. Okay, so that's the align tool. Now let's say I want this thing to stay together and I want it to come apart ever. I want to select it, and I want to group it. Remember I said we're going to use a group. So when I selected both pieces, this little group thing got black, and it means you can use it. So I'm going to go ahead and click group, and now those two pieces are all one. So I can actually move the piece as one piece. Okay. All right. So now the next thing would be the arm of the crane or the lifting machine. So we're going to bring another box over, and we're going to lay this, make this come out the other direction, not up, but over. All right. And let's see, let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. Let's look at the dimensions here. We're going to make a, by the way, we're going to make a hole, a cutout in the top of this vertical piece here. So we need to make that cutout the same size as the arm. So we need to kind of remember this. Right now that arm is 11 by 146, 145. Let's make that 150. Let's round it up, round it off. Let's make that actually a little big. Let's go 120. Okay. And on this one here, 11 will work. It's kind of an odd number. Let's make it 10. How about that? 10, which would be 1 centimeter. 10 millimeters, which is 1 centimeter. All right. Now, so that means we need this cutout here to be also 10 or slightly bigger than 10, like 10.1, something like that. So how are we going to make that cutout here so this thing will fit in there? Well, we're going to use the, I guess it's a hole tool. All right. It's basically, it cuts out things. Sorry about the zoom again. We're going to put that on top of this. We're going to make it long enough, but we need to make this dimension right here exactly. What do we say this one was? This one was 10. We need to make this one, the hole, like 10.1. So let's go ahead and click on that one of those boxes. Click on the size box, and let's make it 10.1. Just slightly, this is a fraction, I mean, it says 1/10 of a millimeter. It's so small, it's like a hair. All right, hit enter. All right, so now that will fit. We're going to put that in here and make that cutout for the arm. So we need to raise it up. And to raise things up, you got to use this little, looks like a cone, and turn it red, and you can raise it up. Now I'm going to spin this drawing around so I can see how high to make it. It's got to go higher. So let's raise it up a little higher. All right, and then let's take it over. Oops, let's move it over. All right, let's spin it around again because see what I did there? I went too close to me. All right, let's spin the drawing around. Here we go. Now let's put it in there and spin around again. I gotta move it this way. Sorry guys. There you go. I'm having trouble locating this thing. Let's make this thing taller. Let's make this. There we go. Now let's see if we're good now. Let's spin around again. We gotta move it again a little bit to the left. And right there. And if we want to make it perfectly aligned, we can again use that alignment tool. Let's go ahead and just go with that now. Now I want that cutout. And remember, I used this block over here. I made a cutout. I took one of those and used that. I want to make this cutout stay where I put it. So what I'm going to do? Group it. All right. So I want to select those two pieces, and I want to group it. Okay. Now I grouped it, and you see right away all that extra cutout went away. And oh, I'm losing that. All right, so let's spin it around. Now I can take this arm and I can take him and put him in there. And if I get it to the right place here, he's way out there, isn't he? There we go. Oh, I got to raise the arm up. The arm is stuck on the work plane, so that's why I can't get it in here. I'm moving the arm around, and it's on the work plane, right? See, it's down there by the base, so I got to raise that arm up if I actually want to put it in there. Okay. Now I can actually get it in there. Now it's too high. All right. Now it should fit in there. Let's see. Spin around a little more. You can see there. It should be perfect fit. All right. Remember, we made it exactly 10.1, and this would have been. I'm sorry, that was 10. This is 10.1. So it looks a little big, but it should fit in there. Okay. If you zoom a little bit, let's move it around a little bit, and try to get that though. So it should fit in there. Okay. All right, so we're going to print this, by the way, in two pieces anyway, so I'm not going to put that in there, worry about that. I am going to put a hole in both pieces. Let's bring this down to some. There we come and bring it down. Oops. Click on it, grab the cone, make the cone red. There we go. All right, so we're going to put a hole here and a hole here. Okay, so I have my toolbar back on the right side, and what I want to do is make a hole here and a hole here, so I don't need the box cut out. All right, I can get rid of that. Actually, I need this cylinder here, right here. Okay, now the cylinder is going to be the hole. Okay, and we're going to put a hole in the upright and a hole in the arm. I need to make this smaller. I need to flip it because it's standing straight up. Okay, I would size it first. Let's make our hole let's make it 4 millimeters. So if I click on that, change both these 20s to 4. So that 20, make it 4. Make this 24. And now I have this hole maker, I guess you could call it. I can make it taller. Let's make it taller. Okay, but I do need to flip it. It's standing up. I need to flip it. So probably we're going to flip it twice. Let's flip it this way first. Now to raise the thing up, we do this. That cone, that thing right there. But to rotate it, it's that. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on the box. I'm going to click 90. Usually try to rotate it 90 degrees at a time. Okay, that didn't do it. So let's flip it the other way. This one here. Click the box, click 90. That got what we wanted, right? So now we can click out of that rotate thing. By the way, let's get rid of this here. Select it. It won't let me. I was going to select it and hit delete key. There it goes. All right, so I can take this thing here, and I need to see how tall where it's got to be. Let's look at it. Is it tall enough? No, let's raise it up a little bit. Okay, now it's up. You can see how tall it is. It's at 116. This is like 120 plus the 4, so we should be good. Let's move it over. You also need to, what we need to do on this one here is we need 2 of these. We need one in this arm. So what we can do is you can copy things. So if I select him and go Control C, all right, and I come out here and I do Control V, get off of him, all right. Let's go Control V now. There's another one. So I got 2 of these now. This one I can put one of them in the arm and one of them in the upright. Okay, so I got one there. What happened to the other one? Oh, he went over there. Put one inside here. You see, you got X, Y. You got X and Y axis, and I'm kind of having a little struggle here with getting it, right place, and now I just lost that. I don't want to size him, I want to move him. So you gotta grab him. Okay, I gotta bring him up. That was the whole issue. I didn't have him high enough. All right. Sorry, 102. Oh no, don't change that. All right. I gotta get off there now. Click on him and move him over. Let's look down on it to see where he's at. Okay, so he's over there now. I don't want to resize him. When you see those little X, little boxes circling it, get out of that unless you want to resize it. So it was trying to resize it instead of moving it. So now we can move it. All right. Again, let's get off the box thing. Let's zoom. All right. So what do we got to do now? We got to make it taller, right? So we're going to do this and then arrow it up. Okay. Now those will fit. Sorry it took so long to do that. Get off of there. Let me zoom in here. If you look around, I got these extra holes here, so we want to group, right? I gotta be careful here because I got those two pieces pretty close together. What I want to do is I want to group this guy, these two guys together, the hole and then the upright. So I'm going to select and I'm going to group that. Okay, now I'm going to select these guys and group them. There we go. All right, so now I can move it around and the hole stays put. I can bring that piece down because he's going to print. He's going to be on the ground when I print him, so I don't need him. Put him on 0. All right, 0 here, so he's on the ground. He's on the work plane. All right, so I have my two pieces here. I want to print, so print them separate. Now, what if we want to take one more thing? This will be extra. What if we want to take this and make this more stylish here? All right. I know we said we could take the box and make a cutout on him, right? We could raise him up a little bit and move him over, and you could stretch him out, let's say, so you can make this arm look a little different that way. But what if you wanted to make like an angle on this guy? All right, you just don't want to just cut that out. Okay, so you want to do something better than that. All right, so let's see what undo, undo, undo. Undo, undo. And now let's say we want to make an angle. So let's take a wedge shape. Okay. You see the wedge shape I brought over is a solid, but we can make a hole out of it. So now we make a hole out of the wedge shape. And let's go ahead and rotate him over 90 degrees. Is it 90? 90, 90, enter. There he goes. And let's stretch him out. So we can actually make this arm look a little different now by, we probably want to flip this around a little bit. So let's see, let's rotate him around. Let's rotate him 180 degrees. 180. Flips him all the way around. All right. Let's say we want to use that. Let's flip it. Let's flip it this way, 180. I think I'm going back where it was. Yeah. There it goes. All right, so let's say we're going to do this. Let's say we're going to put them in here, and let's make them a little longer, make them a little shorter. Oh, there's the height right there. There we go. So now we could slide him in on this arm. We could flip him the other way or whatever, but we can make that arm look a little different. Like we could put him like in there. Okay. See what I did there? So now the arm has this like wedge shape. Let's move him over so all the way to there. Okay. And what I would do is I'd go ahead and group that. All right, so go ahead and group that. All right, group. And what I did there is I cut that off there, right? Okay. Now it looks a little funny because it's hanging up in here, so you could flip this whole thing over. Just flip them over 180 degrees. See if we can make them look better that way. There we go. So just flipped it around. So there's my arm with a wedge shape to it. Okay. And it's got a 4mm hole here. Get off there. 4mm hole here, and up at top there we have a 4mm hole here. So that thing will fit right in there. It's the right size. On the end of this, we could do something fancy on the end of the arm. Whatever. We can make the base fancier, or make this fancier. Round this off, maybe the top of this. You could use this to round it off, or you can do something with the hole makers round off. So I'll let you guys work that out, but at least hopefully you can make something simple like this. So that's it for today's lesson, and sorry it was so long, and have fun. Thanks, bye.